That's perfect. I can see it.
You got some Hall of Fame stuff behind you.
It's
I probably did like 180 articles over my career just for Tennis Magazine.
So you
How
like,
crazy is that?
it is crazy. You like to write too. I mean, I've read your book, and I know that you wrote it because it's in your language.
Yeah, no, it's me. It's like people go, that was written so bad, and I go, well, that's me. You got to live with it. It's not like fudged up or spun or whatever. It's just, I come loud and clear through the book, and that's how I am on the court.
Hey there, Ramon Osa with you here with the Winning Summit, and we have a very special guest today, one of my mentors, Rick Macci, who really doesn't need an introduction, but I want to introduce you anyway. Rick, thanks so much for joining us today.
No problem. I'm glad to be here. This will be a lot of fun.
Awesome. So, Rick, the theme about the Winning Summit is really all about identity. And so this is a good place to kick the interview off. How does someone's identity sort of influence what they're capable of, and how does it factor into them having that sort of champion's mindset?
First off, it's a great question. It's very complex. There's a lot of mitigating factors that go into this, but let me start at the beginning of the road here with kids when they're younger. Obviously, the environmental part of this and the parental part of this has a huge, if not the most important impact on, which road you're going down. Are you going down the yellow brick road, or are you going down the wrong road? I'm not saying, that's the end all, but I think everybody has to understand what a powerful impact the family and the environment shapes someone's mind, obviously, and their behavior. Not that it's a slam dunk, because there's nothing that's 100%. You look at a lot of players, say in NFL, if you look at their background, you know what I mean? A lot of times, divorced family, 10 kids, small apartment. I know the great Michael Irvin, who played at the University of Miami, when he went to college and they had cereal the first day in the dorm, he put water on his cereal. How crazy is that story? He never had milk growing up on their cereal. So do you really think one of the greatest wide receivers of all time, when he goes over the middle to catch a bullet, he's caring if someone takes their head off, like me and you would, watch it on TV? So we always look at this stuff from a distance. And the fact that I've been in the trenches, I went to Publix and bought it. I baked it. I put it in the oven. I got it out. I put the icing on it. I've seen it go to the mountaintop. I've seen it just go to college. I've seen it go, left and go straight down. But I think the identity part right from the beginning, and this is where I even can help the parents, because the parents don't know either a lot of times, and sometimes they just have their kid maybe a little rougher and tougher, or maybe there's more of a focus in the family about discipline and hard work. There's some people that maybe, they have so much money, even with people that have played pro sports. I've worked with Hall of Fame baseball player parents, NHL, NBA, Vince Carter, Mo Vaughn. I could go with a lot of these kids, but tennis is tricky, and they might have the work ethic, the mindset, a rough competitor, but maybe they don't have the patience that they really need to understand about tennis. It's a journey. It's not where you start, it's where you finish. So I do an enormous education, and I always have, even before I had maybe a few more bullets in my holster like I do now of everything I've accomplished. But I've always been that way, to interact with the parents and the kids, to educate. So the parental part and identity, that's the starting point. Now, that being said, that doesn't mean I couldn't take a lamb and turn him into a lion, okay? So that's where I come into the picture, and it's a slow education. Every day, if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And every day, if you're not getting ahead, you're getting behind. So I try to understand the kids, where they're at. I explain that this is a journey, a long-term process. It's all about, where you finish, not really where you start, even though you want to have some success, and confidence breeds confidence. And I get all that stuff. But the person's identity, I try to motivate everybody and this is really important for any coaches watching. You should make a really, really big deal when they do something great. And you should make a really big deal when they do something wrong. But once again, that's in the eye of the beholder. What you might think's good, I might think's, a hamburger. And what you think's terrible, I might think's a positive miss. And that thing's going in every time when you're 16. Mm-hmm. So that's the art of coaching and feeling what I call taking the temperature. So I think that part of it, and that was even the book I wrote, Extracting Greatness, from yourself and others. It's everybody has so much more inside of them. And this is what I got to cultivate and change someone's identity to get them to believe more. Because some people, they think they're good or they think they're great and haven't done anything. And there's some people that do a lot of good things and they don't realize how good they're doing or where it's going. And, that's been some of my best coaching, I feel. And it's not the people that have won Grand Slams or who've maybe gotten to the top of tennis or all the national titles. It's the people maybe when the parents say, Jesus, you've had such an impact. They clean their room. They're doing better in school. They have a different attitude. They don't make excuses. They're off medication. Maybe I should have been a doctor. So I'm going, but I'm not trying to do that. That's all in the ingredients of the teaching. It's more far reaching what I do than the game of tennis. And I'm building a person, to maybe think a certain way because we're influenced by what we hear, what we read, especially nowadays, everything is all in our brain. And the one thing you got control over is your attitude. And, just by some of these kids being around me and, I lead by example, but I don't try to lead by example. I'm the first one to work, I never sit down on the court, I still pick up the balls. I'm always the same way. I'm just like a machine. And I think having structure and discipline, like all the coaches want their kids to do, and, trying to stay fit, how can you talk about nutrition? There's all this, you got to walk. If you're going to talk it, you got to walk it. So, but I don't try to do that. It's always been kind of just, how I am. And I think it adds more credibility to everything that I say. It's not just because I coach the Williams sisters or Roddick and all these people, because that was yesterday. And all that matters to me is who's on the other side of the net, that minute, that second, that hour. That's the most important person, whether it's an 80-year-old guy or the #1 girl in the United States. So the identity part is huge. But this attitude, your attitude, let's face it, if you go through sports in general or business, the most successful people are the most positive. They might come across like negative, or they might come across mean, or they might be whatever. That's behind the curtain stuff. But they're so positive. You have no idea how positive they are. They look at it totally different. I got to get better. I didn't fail. I'm just finding a different way to do it better. There's all kinds of ways to look at this stuff. And that's how I always do it. And when you get into these habits, you wake up and you become that. You don't make excuses. You work harder. You do, 5 extra laps. You do 10 extra push-ups. I try to do a little bit more every birthday instead of going the other way and saying, geez, this is tough. You know what I mean? So the identity part is huge because what you think of yourself when it's all said and done is more important than what other people think. And as a tennis player, as you know, the confidence, you can have a lot of confidence even though you haven't had success. And you can have success and not still be confident. I work with a lot of players on the tour, especially girls from 100 to 250, and they have so much ability, but they almost have to like beat people and prove it to themselves. And, as I always tell everybody, believing's magic.